everyone, hope you've had a great week so far. I'm Dennis Abubeidu. In News Generation today, we will tell you about an 8-year-old who was a judge for a very special program. We will also be telling you about the implication of the fire at the Central Medical Store in Tema. And guess what? Dogs as ball boys in a game of tennis? You're watching News Generation. Let's get interactive. You can find us on Facebook by typing News Generation GH in your search box and on Twitter at NewsGenGH. Our very first story, the Central Medical Stores. I'm not quite sure if many people knew of such a place until a few days ago. The facility which holds the country's medical supplies burnt down, and with it, thousands of important medicines.
Tuesday, 13th January, Ghana's biggest medical storage and distribution outlet caught fire. Many in and around Tema saw the thick cloud of smoke. Firemen tried for hours to put out the fire and eventually did. Although the Ghana Health Service has not yet estimated the level of loss, it is clear many essential medicines and supplies were lost in the fire. But then, more difficult news followed. The facility was not insured. This means governments will have to bear the cost of replacing everything that was lost in the fire.
Well, there's some good news here on that story. The Ministry of Health says all regional medical stores had taken their supply before the fire occurred, and so there's enough medical supplies to last the country for 3 months. The Harmattan season is still with us, and although we know that the impact in the northern part of the country is normally more severe, many in southern Ghana are also not having it easy. In Accra, Shay Adam went out on the streets to find out how people, including children, are coping with having to sleep outside in the open. Although their situation is quite difficult, they do not want to open up to talk about it.
It is a normal day for these young people on the streets of Accra. For them, the street here is their home. They play and do everything here throughout the day. The day has ended and they still stay on the streets because it is also their sleeping place. The Harmattan is quite severe, and we want to know how they cope with the weather conditions at night when it can be cold. But they do not want to talk about it. They are not alone out here. There are young porters who also work and sleep on the verandas of stores and shops. They also shy away from the cameras, so we record in the dark.
This place is very cold these days. Some of us even catch cold and catarrh. Sometimes before we wake up, our cover cloths are stripped off. But we can't cover this place because it will invite thieves to enter through the dark to rob us. Even our children are at greater risk when they roll off onto the bare ground. They may even inhale dust when asleep.
However, still uncomfortable with the cameras, they would not answer most of our questions.
Many people use various social media platforms for different reasons, such as making their opinions known, keeping in touch with people, and just to socialize. Increasingly, however, the downsides of such platforms are generating a lot of debate, as there are cases of using the medium to harm others. Is it all about freedom of speech or responsible use of social media? What is acceptable and what is not? Today on WhatsApp, we ask if social media is being abused.
Of course, it's been abused. It's been abused through defrauding people of their monies and their business documents, just to mention a few. Internet service providers should make sure that children under 18 years who use the internet must use it wisely.
I think it's been abused because some people send fraud messages which are not good, and also they also cause fear and panic in the lives of some people. Maybe about the recent Bukum Bakun's death, it was not true. So I think it's been abused.
In these modern days in Ghana, people use the social medias to insult others like the president and defame them.
Social media is being abused because what can be done is that those owning the internet cafes should state notice for them, and also public education must be enforced on how to use the social medias.
Some students go to the net to open pornographic sites, which is not good for them. Cafe owners should always state the notice that the children who come to the cafe, or some students who come to the cafe to open pornographic sites, should not be allowed to view it.
Welcome back. You're watching News Generation. At just 8 years old, his love for reading landed him an enviable task, being a judge. No, not the legal kind, but also important. Kofi Anyimadu was the youngest judge on the panel of the Golden Baobab Prize for Illustrators 2014.
Kofi Katz a smart and quiet figure at just 8 years old. But he's a lot more than just that. He's exceptional.
I've already written a book and I'm writing another one now.
Kofi's love for reading and appreciation for art landed him the job as a judge at the 2014 Golden Baobab Prize for Illustrators. It was the first time that prize was given.
We had such a great reception by having a young judge on our panel, and I think it makes sense because we work for children and that's the work that we do. So to be able to have someone who is young come on and say, okay, this is the story that I like, or this is the illustration that I like, I think it's a reflection that we are thinking about who is consuming the stories or the illustrations that we want to produce.
I was a little nervous at the beginning, but after some time I realized that I was nervous for no reason. I took a look at people's paintings and then I gave mark for them and sent it to the Golden Baobab Prize. When I was marking, I just had to look at if it showed everything that was in the book, and if the thing was colorful, if the painting was colorful.
South African writer Generation Epd won the prize, which is the biggest prize committed to discovering, nurturing, and celebrating talented African illustrators of children's stories. Zanele gets $5,000 and an exhibition of her illustrations in a number of countries. If all that is anything to go by, then the 2015 edition will be even more exciting.
The major thing that we'll be pushing this year is to publish some of the winning stories that were submitted in the past. So our plan would be to publish about 4 award-winning stories.
Kofi's story just goes to show you are never too young to be important. This year, you might just get the chance.
Let's now take a look at other stories which made headlines.
General Secretary of the GPRTU, Stephen Okujeto, has warned sanctions will be imposed on drivers who fail to implement a directive to reduce transport fares. The Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council last week announced a 5% reduction in transport fares. The decision follows the 10% reduction in petroleum price by the National Petroleum Authority (NPA). Consequently, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union (GPRTU) has urged drivers to reduce fares. Former Black Stars captain Stephen Appiah officially announced his retirement from active football at age 34. Appiah started his professional football career with local club Accra Hearts of Oak before moving abroad. The former Juventus star led Ghana to its first World Cup appearance in 2006 and also played a key role at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, where Ghana finished at the quarterfinals. Appiah will be mostly remembered for his dedication and commitment on the pitch. Cristiano Ronaldo beat Lionel Messi and Manuel Neuer to be named the best football player of 2014. he won the FIFA Ballon d'Or for a second year running at a ceremony in Zurich in Switzerland. The Portuguese star received more than twice as many votes as Messi, who came second. Barcelona forward Lionel Messi says he doesn't know where he will be next year, but he does want to stay at the La Liga club. The Argentina captain had said that rumors of him moving clubs were lies. But the 27-year-old said nobody knows what the future holds when asked if he thought he would end his career at Barcelona. The United Nations Children's Fund has expressed concern about what it called escalating violence against children in northern Nigeria. Executive Director of UNICEF, Anthony Lake, said in a statement Sunday that the images from northern Nigeria should be searing the conscience of the world. The statement came after 2 explosions ripped through a market in northeastern Nigeria Sunday, killing at least 5 people, including the 2 bombers. 21 others were wounded. Russian cosmonauts and American astronauts are said to be safe after fears a dangerous substance had leaked on the International Space Station. Russian officials said that leak of harmful substances from the cooling system forced the crew to seal off the American part of the station. All 6 crew then moved into the Russian part of the space station. NASA said they suspect it wasn't a leak after all, and instead there was a problem with the sensor equipment. The International Space Station, a kind of laboratory, has been in orbit for nearly 15 years and sees scientists from many different countries living on board. Deserts are usually very hot, dusty and dry. But now, a desert in Saudi Arabia has turned white. Snowstorms left a layer of white snows on top of the sand. The bulk of the snow hit a town near the northern city of Tabuk. It forced shepherds and their camels to stay in their tents for protection and to keep warm. The freak weather gave some shepherds a rare chance to build a snowman. The next Avatar film has been delayed by a year and now won't be out in cinemas until 2017. Director and writer James Cameron said he is working on 3 new Avatar films at the same time. The first film was supposed to be out in 2016, but he said writing the stories had become very involved. The original Avatar released in 2009 and became the most successful of all time. Cameron said he wanted to finish the scripts by the end of January so that filming can begin. The films are going to be made in New Zealand, where the original Avatar film was made.
You're still watching News Generation. We'll be back shortly. Our landmark this week takes us all the way to Tomegbe, a village in the Republic of Togo. This village is home to the Tomegbe waterfalls, located in the Kolma-Konda region. It is a coffee and cocoa growing area.
Tomegbe is 105 miles northwest of Lomé, the capital of Togo. Although the waterfall has the same name, Tomegbe, the inhabitants prefer to call it the Agato Cascade.
Agato benkoa le ebegbemea maglobe aga etona edunafa enye tore hedunafa ne makomate gblene ma elabe ne mi le kaka edia hohola mia no semen ko le fie be ho be ele o bri ele o yeti mi chonko ne be agato.
This beautiful waterfall is fairly easy to reach, but the path leading up to the site is steep. It is advisable for visitors to wear appropriate clothing and good hiking boots. Although the locals had often heard the sound of water, they had not bothered to trace it until 2005, when a chainsaw operator felled a tree which dropped into it.
Okpotiale akpeve ple atome ihe rastare va ojava je atile edia ke ocho atia ya atia didi kaka va jefi yenye ihe le tome ke atia yo kploro be yo va je kwa yo va le po waterfall a cascada.
The Aka River is the source of the waterfall. It is the main source of drinking water for nearby villages.
Onone ozane chafa. Nemi do enua Cameton border. O hell if ma ko pompi ko ijiane Cameton to.
Not very much is known about the waterfall, but our guide is happy to do his bit to make it more popular.
Maglobena nyento edunyeme ye mawe benenyo me hia development alo development tanye chamele webe ne banyo ye tamele ve vinyenye chone tiabe ne hendeva no anyo ne nyama juko acha togo me jidudua etu ale gbegbe ehona etiado ne hwela anyabe mi adumeto la mi megeja po na rekelemo okay eyala mion tokwe la gbagbaje ko le avu on place sube miabe publicité a ele tepetepo ele site internet ntoncha donc à ma globe à mon point le site internet www.cascadeagbatu.com bien première cascade.
Also new to News Generation social media pages is Did You Know? We give you important facts about everything you need to know. Our first one was on the Harmattan. Did you know that Harmattan incidentally appears to come from the Tree language of Ghana? Some people have suggested that it may be related to the Arabic word haram, which means forbidden. Well, let's hear what some of you had to say about that. So, in what tree word can we find Harmattan? That's Stephen Amponsa asking. And Mackenzie Na Adole Alote Anan says the Harmattan is a cold, dry, and dusty trade wind blowing over the West African sub-region. And this northeasterly wind blows from the Sahara Desert into the Gulf of Guinea between the end of November and the middle of March. The name comes from or is related to an Akan cognate. Okay, well, you're also trying to help us get some more information about that. Julian Draxler Bruma says, and Ranj Nana Frere says, interesting. We would like to know what you also think about this particular fact, and let us know if you'd want to know any other thing. Well, what's trending? It was a game of tennis featuring well-known stars in the sport, but there were others who stole the show. The ball boys were not boys at all. They were furry and had 4 legs.
Tennis star Venus Williams took on Svetlana Kuznetsova in a friendly tennis match. The game in Auckland, New Zealand, and the ball fetchers had 4 legs and furry faces. A bull mastiff named Oscar, a border collie named Ted, and a Jack Russell Norfolk Terrier named Super Teddy were the stars of the match. They wore sweatbands on their legs. The event was special and made everyone wonder why tennis matches would not now use dogs to fetch the balls.
It's been a very interesting episode today. Thank you so much for watching. This has been News Generation. I'm Venice Abu Baidu. Bye.